A tense exchange playing out at the White House after the press secretary was asked by our own Peter Doocy about the stark difference between President Biden's response to the Maui wildfires and Hurricane Idalia.
It seems like the hurricane response so far is robust. Did you guys realize that the initial Hawaii wildfire response was not that good? Or is it just easier for people to get help from the White House when the president is not on vacation?
The way you posed your question, I disagree, just for the record. So if you were to do your reporting and speak to the governor of Hawaii, the senators of Hawaii, the folks on the ground, they would say that the president reacted in record time. So your question is wrong, it's flawed in many, many ways.
Fox News contributor and columnist for The Messenger, Joe Concha, joins us now. I mean, look, Joe, nobody cares what she thinks about the question. A lot of people are asking the same question that Peter Doocy is asking. So what were your thoughts on this?
I'm sure the families, Ashley, of those who are still missing, and we're talking hundreds of people still missing in Maui, including children, would disagree with the press secretary, saying that the president responded in record time. He did not. He was on a beach in Delaware, 5,000 miles away for days. And when reporters asked him to comment on Maui, he gave a no-comment response time and again. And then finally, after going on another vacation in Lake Tahoe, did basically a photo op stop for just a couple of hours in Maui before going back on vacation. He'll be back on vacation again tomorrow. So to compare what happened, Griff, as far as President Biden's reaction to the worst wildfire in U.S. history, where people to this day are still not accounted for, including children, with the response by the governor of Florida, who was there before that hurricane hit. It was there throughout the hurricane, obviously, and is there for the reaction as well after the hurricane leaves, is night and day in terms of what we're seeing in terms of leadership, guys. Yeah, it is, Joe. In fact, let's compare the leaders in real time in their moments of leadership. First, Governor Ron DeSantis. Watch his response.
We were ready for this, so we had search and rescue teams staged, National Guard. We had 5,500 National Guard. We had 1.2 million gallons of gasoline in the event of fuel shortages. And we had over 30,000 linemen to restore power. And so as soon as the storm passed, our first responders were on the scene checking on people.
Meantime, here's Biden's response on the hurricane.
Can you assure Americans that the federal government is going to have the emergency funding that they need to get through this hurricane season?
The answer is, if I can't do that, I'm going to point out why. How can we not respond? My God, how can we not respond to these needs?
And finally, Joe, here's the president's initial response to the wildfires.
Okay.
Talk about the Hawaii response, Mr. President?
Can you tell us about your Hawaii trip, sir?
No, not now.
Joe, your reaction?
Not much to react to there, Griff. As far as polls are concerned, the overall theme with this president and Joe Biden is that he is too old for the job, and he certainly should not have another 4 years in the White House. This is not my opinion. This is the opinion of 7 in 10 Democratic voters saying now that Joe Biden will not be effective in a second term. He shouldn't be there until he's 86 years old. Overall, the number is 77% of Americans do not want him to run again for president. And the reason why is exactly what we've seen over the past month, where he has been on vacation. At one point, he was on vacation 23 out of 30 days. Overall, 370 vacation days have been taken by this president. He's almost caught up to Ronald Reagan's 390. Here's the difference. We're talking about Joe Biden in 2.5 years, as opposed to Reagan's 8 years in taking all of those vacation days. When you take this much vacation, it makes you wonder why, and is he too old for the job, guys? Anyway, we got to go.
Right. And not to mention, I think all eyes were obviously on DeSantis. So it was, coming off the campaign trail and putting all of his focus and energy in Florida. So, Joe Concha, thank you so much for your time this morning. We appreciate it.
Joe.
Great to see you.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.